Welcome to Talking. I'm Tripp. This is the very first episode, and it just seemed super appropriate to go give my good friend Tyler a visit. As most of you know, Tyler is my comedy partner. We created a YouTube channel together, Tripp and Tyler, where we amassed hundreds of millions of video views and like 250,000 subscribers. Tyler and I were business partners for almost 2 decades. Not only that, we grew up together, went to high school together, we worked at summer camps together, we even lived in the same basement apartment for a long time. And at one point, we had a podcast together. I haven't recorded a single episode of a podcast since however many years ago we did our last episode together. I thought, hey, this is a good way to start. I'm just gonna go visit Tyler. So I got in my car, I drove to his house in Lawrenceville, Georgia. He said his kids weren't going to be there. His wife was out of town. We set up some cameras and we had a conversation. Well, we just rehashed some memories and it was a good conversation. We talked about why we don't do what we used to do anymore on YouTube and how the success that we had with some of our most viral videos ended up being also the reason we stopped making more. And we rehashed some memories together of some of the best times and worst times and most embarrassing times that we had as comedy partners, performing, going to meetings in Hollywood. Anyway, it's a great episode. I'm so excited about continuing on in this podcast. I've got a bunch more already lined up. Let's just get started. This is Talking with Tyler Stanton.
It's funny how I used to do things so publicly and now I do nothing like this anymore.
You really don't. You want to just go there immediately? I didn't even know if you wanted to go there. I was I'm not gonna show up and talk. I don't want Tyler to just have to start talking about his new life.
No.
I wasn't gonna, and you started there.
That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to lay some groundwork that my ability to be interesting or articulate well is gone.
That's not true. I would argue that over the last few
I spend
years,
every single day completely by myself. I don't talk to anyone.
I think you've become more articulate over the last 5 years. I've noticed that on our Marco Polo thread. I think it's because you're so well read.
Is that why we chose this?
Yeah, I was going to say, not that you want anyone to know that, but you are very...
I do want to be clear, I did not choose the backdrop. We had a lot of options in this
But this was the most clean, empty, ready room when I walked in your house. It was my choice.
I did steer you towards this.
Yeah. Oh, what's over here?
Man, it's embarrassing.
And I was like, can we shoot in here? Yes. Yeah, we can. we absolutely. No, but to my point, I think that you have become very articulate. I mean, you're a big reader. You're the biggest reader I know.
Really?
How many books did you read last year? Don't act like you don't know. You counted. How many did you read?
2 years ago, I really cared about that.
Okay.
And I read 70 something books and I was trying to get that high number.
Yeah.
Last year, not so much, probably 45.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is that it shows. And I mean that in the most sincere, complimentary way.
Thank you.
I know that you feel rusty because you're not out doing comedy and showing up on stages and you're not doing podcasts. But my experience of you as your friend is that you are incredibly articulate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's just take a moment to talk about Marco Polo.
That'd be great. What is Marco Polo?
Can this podcast be sponsored by Marco Polo? You think you could pull that off?
Well, that would be amazing. That's a great idea. I do have a sponsor in mind, and I am going to mention them on every episode. I'll go ahead and say right now, this episode, along with the others, is sponsored by... But I'm going to beep that out. I'm going to beep that out. I'm going to put the logo up and I'm going to blur it so that when they finally agree to sponsor this, I'm going to be able to say part of your sponsorship is a video on my YouTube channel of all of the episodes unblurred.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
So you can see that I am a fan. I've wanted this from the beginning.
That's smart.
This product impacts my life every day. I want them to sponsor this podcast.
Every day?
1 or 2 a day.
Wow. Wait, so this is going on YouTube?
Yeah.
All the platforms?
All of them.
TikTok?
Yep. Instagram.
Snapchat?
What is Marco Polo? I think that's a good idea to talk about because it's a big part of our life. A lot of people don't know what it even is.
Yeah. You think not many people know? It's the one app on my phone
You're the one who said you just stay indoors in your house and you're not out there in the world. So I could let you be the authority on what people out there know about, or I couldn't.
Well, I would say Marco Polo is the thing that allows me to stay connected, even though I work alone.
Me too.
And it's really enhanced all of our friendships.
Me too.
It's basically video texting, right?
That isn't in real time. So
it's not in real time.
It's like having a Zoom call with your friends going around the clock that you can chime into whenever you want, because it's all like recorded posts in a feed.
Yep.
And
we have multiple threads where it can just be a general discussion. It can be cooking. We have a cooking thread.
Politics.
We have a politics thread. We have a money thread. We have a business thread. Those are kind of the same.
The deal is there's 7 of us in this group of friends.
Yep.
We're all very close. You guys are my closest friends. Are we your? You have other groups. Are we your closest friends?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
And
it's hard to replace like the history that we have.
I know. Implying that you have found more interesting friends, but because you don't have history,
y'all just give me crap all the time about my other friends.
Yeah,
and it's just
I'm glad you have other friends. I have some other friends, but not many. I mean, believe it or not, well, you know this, but you would, if you didn't know this, you would guess me being such an extrovert that I don't spend all of my time in my house working alone, but I do. I mean, I go out and do the occasional speaking gig. I still do some emceeing gigs, video projects, but those aren't daily. They're not even always weekly. So most of my time, like you, I'm in my house,
just
at a desk,
getting it done.
Marco Polo is my lifeline. Like at least I can have some social.
The slow Marco Polo days are rough.
Oh, you're right.
And I've, way more than you. I'm a lurker on there. Like I chime in every now and then, but it's nice to have that just loop going.
Yeah. In other words, when Nate and I don't talk, it's a slow Marco Polo day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And these are friends of ours we've had for 20 years, and we're spread out. Georgia, North Carolina, Chicago. That's not a state, but it's better than saying Illinois.
Yeah.
And even those of us that are in Georgia, we don't see each other.
It's true. Even though we're hanging out this Saturday for your birthday.
We are.
What are we doing?
I'm very depressed about this.
This is so funny.
Why?
It's just funny because it's for your birthday.
Yeah.
And it needs to be a thing. It can't just be like, we got to go have dinner. You were already telling us, like, if we just go to dinner and get drinks or something, you'd be really upset.
I don't think I'd be really upset.
It needs to be a special occasion.
The bar isn't even that high. It really isn't.
It just needs to be something you don't normally do.
Yeah. If Tim were coming, he'd have some idea for something to do at dinner that would be memorable. I go out to dinner already once a week.
I know, but you do.
There's nothing.
The things you do normally are things that you like to do. That's the reason you do them normally.
Yeah, but there's just. I don't want this to come across like I'm one of these people that need to feel celebrated and like their birthday needs to be the equivalent of their rehearsal dinner affirmation time. That's not what I'm looking for. I'd take it, but.
So you're expecting a gift?
I just want. Look, actually, there's multiple layers. I want to do something. I want to have an experience that is memorable. So when I look back at my 45th birthday, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a night that we did this, and we will forget about a dinner at a restaurant. And life at my house over the last 3 weeks has been very difficult. It has been one of the most challenging 3 weeks I've had in a while, just between kids being sick and a number of things. And so when Hannah said, hey, I couldn't get a babysitter for your birthday, we already have plans together for this other thing. How about you just take Saturday night off and go do something with your friends? To me, I want, I don't know what I want. I want to explode out of my house and do something awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's the problem with having friends like me and Dave, though, because it's only going to be me and Dave.
Yeah, because right now there are 2 friends of mine available, and it's the 2 of my friends who have the hardest time leaving their own damn house.
Yep. I like being home.
You know what? Me too. This is where I sometimes feel a little misunderstood because I am an extrovert. I am full of emotions and expressions. But ever since I can remember in my adult life, thinking all the way back into my early 20s, I did always feel like I couldn't relate to people that needed to always be out on the town. I never really liked going to clubs. I didn't really like big group dinners. My favorite thing about our friend group, which is part of why it's been something that I think keeps going, is what I like to do with my friends is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Sit around.
We get together
Just
once
sit
every
around.
2 years.
Yep.
We all plan ahead. You know, we're all traveling from different places, and that's hard. Everyone's got kids and careers. We plan ahead, and our plan is pick the location with seats that we're going to sit in for 3 days straight.
Yep. No activity.
Yeah. So I'm just making sure that you and everyone else listening understands that when I say I want an experience, I'm not looking for, I don't want to go skydiving. I don't want to go to a club. I don't want it to be a grand experience. I just want it to be something other than going to dinner. I already did that this week.
Yeah, but that's your fault for having a birthday in March. There's nothing to do in March. If it was April, we'd go to a Braves game. If it was any other month, there'd be something more fun to do. March is kind of a...
I don't believe you believe that.
February and March.
I want you right now to tell me. I'm going to go through all the months, and I want you to tell me
February
the obvious
and March.
thing you would do in January birthdays. What's the obvious thing you can do in January? And don't say Hawks game.
Drive up to the mountains and go skiing.
February.
Nothing. That's already said February
Okay,
and March are the bad months.
April.
Braves game, Masters party.
Okay. May.
May, Braves game.
Oh boy. June.
Well, Braves game.
July.
We could keep
July through October. Braves game.
Going. Yep.
November.
Well, you could go, to the mall and do some Christmas shopping because it'd already be decorated.
Yeah, because that would be really fun to do on a birthday with a bunch of guys. Is go to the mall and go shopping, or would it?
I mean,
you and Dave want to go shopping?
It
this
wouldn't
weekend?
be. I already suggested that we go demo the Apple Vision Pro. None of us are going to buy it.
I do like that idea.
But
Do you think
why wouldn't we go to the Avalon and just demo?
You think we're too late? Like, I wonder how long you have to sign up in
I don't know.
advance.
I didn't think it was that popular.
I mean, I don't think it's a popular purchase. I think it is popular in its...
Demoing?
Yeah, I think the whole world knows about it. It's the PR has been massive. It's just that it's not affordable.
Yeah.
And even for those that can afford it, it doesn't seem like it's that useful.
I'm actually kind of surprised you didn't get it.
Well,
Is this the first new product that you haven't gotten on opening day?
yep. And the first VR headset that I know there's like 20 VR brands, but I got all of the Oculus, then Meta ones. But after 3 that I've sold, I realized I don't really use these.
We did have a season. We did have a little season. I got one. Nate had one.
Yeah.
Maybe still has one. And we would get together and play putt-putt.
The only thing that was awesome about the Meta Quest was the Walkabout mini golf game.
Yep.
And during the pandemic, it was fantastic to meet up with you guys in a virtual world and play 9 holes of putt-putt and just hang out and talk like we were there. That was awesome. But when Nate got rid of his, actually, let's not act like you really did that more than twice. Nate and I played every night for like 60 straight days. And you were like, I don't really like this.
I liked it for a couple days.
Did you? You liked it so much that you did play 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I had other stuff to do.
Right.
Had
Well,
some family time.
it is. And Nate and I, we don't care about our families. So we played almost nightly. And then he sold his because he wanted a PS5. And as we've seen, Nate has he's gone deep into the video game world.
I always assumed he was always deep in the video game world.
I didn't know that until the last year or so. I mean, he's got a gaming PC now. He's playing these multiplayer games. That's fine. I think that's probably fun. And I'm not at all bitter that he abandoned me. And I no longer had any use for my VR headset. So I've learned the lesson not to get one, because it'll be something that's fun to try everything inside of. And then once I've done that, it will only be fun when I have a new person over to demo it with.
You could sell it. You could probably make some money on it.
So Saturday night, let's go demo the Apple Vision Pro. And we'll go...
I kind of don't want to do that anymore.
Why?
I don't know.
Hassle.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to wait, I'm open to it.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
But where are we going to hang? Are we just going to go to a restaurant?
Well, you said you didn't want to hang out at your house.
I don't because I just want to be out of my house.
Oh, well.
I mean, I guess after dinner.
We can hang out at my house. I mean, that's like asking David to drive 2 hours.
Yeah. And me. He doesn't. Is it really?
I think he's
further.
Equal distance north of you than I am.
No.
No?
No. He's 15 or 20 minutes to my house. Oh. That's not true.
Liar.
No, I've been his. It may be 30, but it is not equidistance because you are 40 minutes to an hour. I talked to Dave almost all the way here in the car.
Is he coming?
Now? I should have asked him.
Oh, here? No,
yeah,
I was talking about, is he committing to Saturday?
It's
this
harder.
Is riveting. Let's go over our next week's plans.
Let me title the podcast, My Plans This Week. Listen to me and my friends talk about our plans. Okay, so let's get into some other stuff. We've talked way too much about my birthday. It's going to be nothing.
Which, 45, it's kind of nothing.
It's been 9 years since we have sat down and recorded a podcast.
Yeah.
And
we did record one a few years after our last one, and it never saw the light of day. Do you remember that? Yeah. It was just...
Find that.
I think we ended up talking about some stuff that we didn't want to publicly talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just got buried.
Oh, yeah. I got to find that.
Please don't. Please don't look.
And we also have arguably the most neglected YouTube channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people working 100-hour weeks trying to build a subscriber base that would kill to have 250,000 subscribers, which isn't that many now, really.
Right.
I mean, but it's enough. It's enough to do something with full time. And here we are. We haven't posted a video in a long time. The last it kind of petered out, and neither of us really want to.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah,
you probably more so than me.
Me more than you, but not enough to do it. Like the next thing that this might be the very next thing that goes on that channel.
Oh, okay.
It made sense to me to at least put this episode there.
Yep, makes sense.
I get a lot of questions, probably more than you. People ask me all the time, "What's Tyler doing? What happened with you and Tyler?" Or when we did put a video up years ago, it was like, "There you guys are, finally," And I would imagine, I understand why people would be so curious. The problem is, it's not that like we have some falling out or controversial story that we don't want to tell. It's that the answer is just boring.
It is boring. It's boring.
And I don't even know what it is. Why are we not?
It's just simply we lost interest.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know what.
How do two guys who are making great money, making comedy skits on YouTube for a living, lose interest in doing that?
I don't know if there's one answer. I think it was a combination of things for me.
Okay.
What about you? Are you going to hear it?
That was a classic Tyler answer. That was perfectly dismissed. It's a combination of things. It's it's not just one thing. It's multiple things.
No, I think you
I
would
do
probably
have
agree
an
with this.
answer,
You have an answer?
but I want to.
Do you want to go first?
Nope.
I'll give you one of my answers.
Okay.
I think doing stuff almost exclusively for brands was an absolute buzzkill. Mm-hmm. And it kind of squashed that like creative energy.
Yep.
Because it was always, everything had to have some sort of a brand attached to it. And that's kind of, I mean, unashamedly, that's how we made a living. We needed that brand money.
Yep.
But you know, when you get Montel Jordan to agree to do a video with you, and it has to be about temporary hourly work service.
No, a tech platform for managing hourly wage workers. Yeah.
Yo, Tripp and Tyler here with our friend Montel. Yeah. When it comes to hourly jobs, this is how we do it.
I don't even know what it was.
I think we could say that about a lot of our sponsors.
Yep. It's usually tech, cloud-based something. But anyway, like you get an opportunity like that, and then you have to, and you make a video, which I had a great time doing it, and it was a fun video and a fun song. But at the end of the day, you're just kind of like, huh, that was.
I think the biggest mistake we made was transitioning into branded content.
Yeah.
That was the buzz killer. And looking back, it was hard to notice. For me, you might disagree. You might have seen something I didn't see. And I'm very open to hearing that. I'm very open to being the reason we stopped doing it. Just so you know. It's been 9 years. It can all be my fault. That's fine. But I think the best and worst thing that ever happened to us was a conference call in real life. I think that video, it was amazing that it went viral, and it's still going viral. Like, it's still our most watched video. It's still getting lots of views. It went viral. It truly went viral again during the pandemic. So it twice viral, but it mostly gets attention in the professional world because it's about conference calls.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. Because all of a sudden there were people lined up, big companies with big, deep pockets lined up to work with us. And it was like, we've done it. We can just choose the one we want to work with, get paid a lot of money up front. And so if you look at our channel right about that time, we almost completely transitioned from just making whatever the hell we want because we thought it'd be funny to... It became clear that there was some sponsors' input. Yeah. And sometimes we navigated that well. And I would say email in real life was a video we may have really done.
Yeah, for sure. I think some of more than just that one. But when you start to have a lot of brand input on this needs to go or it needs to have more of this message, we weren't.
It was a slippery slope.
We basically got into making commercials.
Yep. And that's because that was the immediate payout.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't know that if we had to do it over again, we would do anything different, because the landscape for YouTube at the time was not build a subscriber base. We had so many views on Conference Call in Real Life, but there was no real call to action to subscribe to our channel because it wasn't like people weren't doing that yet.
No. Well, you bring up a good point. For all those that are interested in how YouTube works, there was a massive shift happening on the platform as we were as this season of our career was going on. Like, YouTube was a place where we could make whatever we want and we could spend as much time as we needed to making it, and we would put it up and our subscribers would get it on their feed. And we were building this fan base of creating digital shorts. They're almost like little short films each time. Meanwhile, the YouTube algorithm was changing because they were figuring out monetization, and they changed it to an algorithm-based feed. You know, in layman's terms, everyone is aware that on their Facebook feed, they're just getting whatever the Facebook algorithm wants them to see. It's not just because their friend posted it. And so now on YouTube, you aren't getting content you subscribe to. You're getting content that the YouTube algorithm thinks you want based on your interests in other videos you've watched and liked. And so our stuff wasn't being shown to our subscribers. And in the meantime, what was working for YouTubers was lots of content. So that meant content that was easy to produce.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you have all these unboxers.
Right.
Open the new iPhone and you have vloggers, shooting their life.
Time. It was easily produced.
Yeah.
Long 45-minute videos. I mean,
it's not easy to produce is fiction.
Highly
fiction.
produced 3-minute comedy sketches.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes.
Because we had to find actors, we had to write it, and we were very intentional about our writing. The nonfiction stuff on YouTube started exploding, and we did that show. We did like 8 episodes of the Tripp and Tyler show.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe that would have taken off. It just wasn't for me. I didn't love it. Did you? Did you like doing the show?
It was a fun little season,
and it was discouraging because the views on those would be so much lower. It felt like it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And looking back, if we had done 100 episodes, it may have become.
And honestly, that's another thing. That's another thing I don't miss about that world or any. I'm not really on much social media at all now, and it's just because that feeling of working really hard to produce something and then no one watches it.
Yeah.
I hated that. And there was something that we didn't try
but didn't
hard
you
at
love
all.
when the opposite happened?
Well, yeah, I did. Of course, but it was kind of a kick in the nuts when you worked really hard on something and it just didn't.
I mean, I
connect.
don't even know that it's healthy to always have to be wondering and watching and monitoring that stuff. Like, I don't think that was good for my mental health.
No way.
Even when it was good, even when something went viral or at least just got lots of views really fast, it was creating a different type of anxiety in my life. Because then it's like, okay, so what do we do with that?
Got to do the next thing.
How do we leverage that? Which brand? What should we? Instagram? What? Yeah. And maybe we're just too old. Maybe we were born just a little too soon for that to feel natural and normal.
My go-to answer when people ask me, why aren't you doing videos anymore? Is it's a young man's game.
So I'm going to feel really great if I get back into it. I'm going to know that you see me as a young man.
Well,
should I start calling you Mr. Stanton?
Good luck, dude. Good luck. It's a young man's game. You gotta figure out all the new stuff.
I don't know if that's true. I think there is truth to that.
What I mean by that is you just have to constantly be evolving with the platform and expanding on these different platforms and repurposing your content. I mean, you're good at that, and you have some of the AI stuff that we've talked about where it helps you repurpose content. Right. I don't have the energy for that.
Bigger the thing that's also true, though, unfortunately, is that it almost doesn't matter what business you're in now. If you are depending on marketing your business, you're having to keep up with social media platforms. There is very few businesses that can exist and not be generating content on social media. And that sucks.
That's true.
But it's true.
That's true.
And the more I've had to do that for my other businesses and the more I've helped other companies do that for themselves, the more I've learned and realized, okay, maybe I can do this, which is why we're here. But it's taken me years and years to decide what that would even mean I create, because I don't think I want to get back into making weekly comedy short films, though I might start making them again just randomly because I want to. This is all I really am interested in, is just this kind of content, talking. I tried the whole expertise thing, like building the coaching thing out of becoming a YouTube guy that talks about a topic, and I like talking. I like sharing things that I know. I don't like being that guy.
I get that.
There's too many of them. There's
too many of them, and if you don't do it exactly right, there's just an air about that type of person.
There's a fine line between being someone that is respectable and helpful and inspiring, and then
who would you say
a
is doing it
complete
well?
narcissist.
Who would you say is doing it well?
Well, I mean, Tim Ferriss has done it well from the beginning. Yeah. Tim Ferriss is a helpful guy. I think who's doing it well?
Are you talking about on YouTube or in this podcast space? Or
social media world? Who are the experts out there that don't come across like they need it more than their viewers do? That's really where the line is for me. There's experts out there who I feel like have figured out there's a way they can help me, and there's experts out there who I can tell have figured out a way to be a helpful person that gets paid for it and revered for it. And it's just more about their ego than actually helping. And I'm not even saying it's true about them. I'm just saying it's a optics thing.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be on the wrong side of that line. Who do you think of?
Well, maybe you want to look at my YouTube subscriber feed and just to see, because I feel like I'm blanking on who those people are, but there are
Matt Diavella.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
Matt Diavella. Ali Abdaal.
Ali Abdaal is great.
I like him a lot.
How is it that he's so humble? Maybe he isn't. Why does he come across not douchey?
I don't know. I feel like he has just a lot of really helpful things that are kind of an outpouring of what he's done.
But he shamelessly just wanted to do this. I mean, it took him a while to even figure out what his niche was. He was just putting out content. I mean, I do think it's a great business to be in if it's something that you're willing to fail at and you're willing to, walk that fine line.
I got disinterested in my subscribers.
Yeah, I was hoping you would. Because I was already bummed that that's what you were doing. I really just wanted to know who came to mind. Okay, shifting gears. Maybe I'm so insecure, by the way, about what people will find interesting
in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, strike two. Weekend plans, no one cares. YouTube strategy, no one cares. I have a massive inner critic. Do you have one of those?
Absolutely.
And part of it's from being rusty.
I didn't even want to do this.
I can tell. I've been trying to make this plan with you for 9 months minimum. And somehow there's conveniently always a reason that this week wouldn't work. Or
it's not always my fault.
I know. Well, I'll own that. I think that I've been afraid to do this.
Because of, we'll be talking about our weekly plans and
it's
YouTube strategies.
Look, I'm going to give myself and yourself a little credit here.
Okay.
It'd be one thing if we'd never done anything online before and we're like, it'd be fun to sit around and do a podcast. There'd be no expectations. But when you have viral comedy videos out there or anything, and then all of a sudden you go away, after going away for years, you start putting content out, it feels like a bigger opportunity to let people down.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This will be a letdown. I'm positive.
There's 100%
from there.
100% chance.
How
I just don't
little
care
of a letdown can it be? That's
but I don't care. That's the thing. Like I know that.
Do you?
I don't care. And my care has gotten low enough to where I'm willing to do it. I'll say that.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, my inner critic's going right now, and I've talked about this on both episodes I've recorded. So people are going to get tired of hearing it. But I just know that doing this is actually it is coming from like who I am. I like talking.
Yeah.
I like creating content. I like the idea of having a podcast. So,
and we like that about you. We want you to. I like to listen to you talk, and every now and then just chime in.
Double speed on Marco Polo.
I just had to re-up my Marco Polo
Plus
subscription.
I knew why.
It's not because of you.
Who do you double speed the most?
I'm not going to say.
Because our friends aren't going to watch this.
That's very true.
I'll tell you mine.
That's very true.
I'll tell you mine.
Me?
It's you.
I talk slow. I can't articulate.
Have I told you before that there's been a time where I
Yes,
had you on
told
double
me that.
speed already and like went down to double speed it? I'm like, oh damn, he's already on double speed?
It's embarrassing, but very true. I mean, very true.
It's part, to bring this full circle, it's part of the being good at articulating yourself. You're careful and thoughtful with your words. My mouth is going and just trying to keep up with my ADD brain, and stuff just comes out.
Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more of that.
Well,
because I'm always trying to find the right word, and it's annoying
do.
to hear. Like, just my family members, they've got to be sick of it.
no
Like,
way.
come on, Dad, let's go.
No, you do want a little bit of it, but not a lot of it. I would like a little bit of thoughtfulness. I'd like to be able to have a thought that didn't just immediately fall off a cliff and come out of my mouth.
We should be accountability partners.
We've probably been before. Oh, man. We don't want to get into that, do we?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't care enough to anymore. So I thought it'd be fun while we're doing this, just to rehash a couple of moments in our 15 years of doing comedy and YouTube and all the stuff. I was thinking there's a couple stories that people don't know, that are worth rehashing.
Okay.
The first one that came to mind for me was our whole run-in or potential run-in with SNL.
Okay.
We did get close to auditioning.
Yeah, we had a soft audition.
Yeah.
I guess you would call it that.
And apparently it's part of the process. You want to explain what that is?
Well, we had to submit an audition tape, and I guess if they liked that, then you would get called to do the traditional audition.
Right.
And the only reason, I guess, the reason we were even close to that group of people was because of Broadway Video, Above Average,
Ayala Cohen.
and Ayala Cohen.
So the short version of that is when we were at our peak on YouTube, it was also a day and age where there was such thing as a YouTube network, which were these big...
They don't have those anymore?
No, they don't do this. It's like the networks would try and own and invest in a bunch of channels and try to build revenue, and they would share the revenue, and who cares?
Which you may have seen some of our videos that we did for them. We did shorts and skins for them. We did
Baby, I Love You.
He's gonna break your heart. He's a total disgrace. And if he does it, I will pinch him in the face.
Baby, I Lobe You. Something with Jay Farrow.
Oh, the Sports Center audition.
I quit.
Yeah, Sports Center auditions.
That might have been it. We did one branded thing for Verizon.
Yeah. Oh, that was. I loved that series.
Detweiler and Detweiler.
No, it was Detweiler and Der Holyfield.
Yes.
If you need help, we're here for you. Just give us a call.
Your name was
Evan Der Holyfield.
That was great. Essentially, Broadway Video, which is the production company behind SNL that Lorne Michaels owns. They also are behind other things. Who cares? They started one of these networks, and we were one of their early signs. And we signed that as fast as they could, because it was like, hey, we're signing Lonely Island and them. And it was like what was the Yacht Club channel?
It was Harvard Sailing Team.
Harvard Sailing Team. There was like people we really looked up to and respected. We were like, sign us up. And so every now and then they would give us a little bit of money to produce something, and they would give us resources. Like we'd fly up there and we'd shoot it in New York, and their guys would produce it. And sometimes they would get us other famous actors. People don't realize this, but that Shorts and Skins video has some pretty famous people.
Oh yeah,
they're just fringe famous people.
Well, they had Vinny from
Jersey Shore,
and Chris DiStefano,
big time comedian now.
Yeah, I think he has a special on Netflix. I was like,
yeah,
oh, that guy's crotch has been in my face.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy that... So anyway, we were part of this. We had this relationship now with Broadway Video. And when we'd go up there, they would like take us on tours of SNL. And, it was off season, I think.
Yeah.
So we would just tour the studio and we were hanging out in their offices. And I think we peed in Lorne Michaels' bathroom.
Yeah.
I did. Did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
We definitely both peed in there.
And just walking around, like seeing, like being in the room where they have the big table, the big conference room table where they do the read-throughs, and seeing the Lonely Island's office. And I think Seth Meyers was there at the time, seeing Seth Meyers' office.
It was surreal.
It was very surreal.
And we had this one meeting that our managers set up for us. Was it Danny and Josh at the time? Who cares? Danny and Josh, they knew we were up there. They got us a meeting with Ayala Cohen, who was the head of talent.
Yep.
Had been there for, 18 years. And she was very interested in meeting with us. And this was a time in her career where we did general meetings in Hollywood and New York often. It's just a thing you do. Like when you're a rising talent, networks and production companies and producers and developers, they want to meet with you and just kind of feel you out and find out what you're working on. And so we got one of those with Ayala. And it was amazing. It was intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
We were sitting on a couch. She was in her desk chair. We were sitting on a couch. Above us, you remember this? Was like framed photos of all the legendary cast members.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I do. I'll never forget it. And she was so sweet. She was the sweetest lady, and she was interested in us, and she told us the whole story of Lonely Island, that, how they got to where they are. And she explained that they didn't all get cast together. Like, you all have to audition individually, and that's why Andy got cast, but the other two he brought on as his writers. And so if one of us got cast, we could bring the other as a writer, blah, 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 blah. The next day, when we get home from that trip, there's this entertainment news headline: Ayala Cohen has left SNL. And she is going to be a new agent at ICM, which is one of the big four. William Morris, what are the other ones?
I don't know.
CAA and whatever. And she was going to take this big job as a talent agent. And we're like, who cares? Whatever. Well, Josh and Danny call us up and they're like, hey, just so you know, Ayala wants you guys to be her first sign. We're like, we're going to get an agent? Hell yeah. So Ayala was our agent. And she said the first thing we're going to do is get you guys an audition at SNL. Yeah. Which, how did that make you feel when you found that out? I was
so overwhelmed by that.
Me too.
I was like, are you sure?
Yeah, I didn't feel ready for it.
Have you seen us?
Like, we're good at the things we write specifically for ourselves.
Yeah.
But I was excited about the potential of filling the Lonely Island gap when they left. Mm-hmm. Like, I do believe, at the time, I believed we could make digital shorts. Mm-hmm. But like getting on stage and acting out sketches and playing political figures, and I don't know. We didn't rise up through improv theater or anything like that.
Which leads us to the soft audition tape that we had to make.
God.
Which you had asked me, be prepared to talk about some of your most embarrassing moments.
Okay.
This is up there. Like, I don't ever want this video to see the light of day.
What were the characters?
Well, let me just say they wanted us to do 5 impersonations. Is that what it was?
Basically that was the catch. It was like, you have to have, it's all characters and impersonations.
Yeah.
And remember, she was really trying to help us. She was giving us insider info, and she was saying, you want it to be characters and impersonations that are very relevant to current events. It's like, if you have a really good Bill Clinton, scratch that.
Right. Yeah.
I think I was going to try to do something dumb like Scooby-Doo. She's like, everyone's done Scooby-Doo.
Well, everyone,
Who did you do?
I only remember 2 of the ones that I did.
Michael Caine,
which I think is one of those that everyone probably does. It's just talking in a deep British accent.
It was good though.
I mean, was it?
Yeah, it's good. Know. I'm definitely showing a clip right here in this part of the podcast. Just a short clip.
I don't think you have it. Please do not show that. God, that would be so awful.
You did a little bit of Michael Caine. Who else?
You're going to show a clip, aren't you? No, you won't. You're too good of a friend.
I won't do it if you really don't allow me to.
The only other one I remember that I actually still think is funny is that I did John Mayer typing emails.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
And it was just, if you've ever seen John Mayer live, you know that he's got a lead guitar face that he makes. Yeah, it's real
That's
animated.
really funny.
And so somebody at his desk typing, and he's just, reading the email, and then when he starts typing, it's that face.
That's funny. Didn't you do like a coach character or something?
I may have done a coach.
High school coach.
Yeah.
Everyone's done that. I think I did that too, because that was characters we'd play on stage.
Yep. We did coaches. Gosh, talk about another embarrassing moment. Oh my gosh, I just remembered this. Our Just for Laughs.
Oh, I don't like the feeling I just had.
Talk about something I'd be very embarrassed if it ever saw the light of day.
Okay, put a pin in that, because that's the next story we have to tell.
Okay. But anyway,
I don't want to leave people hanging here. Like, you submitted those.
I submitted those, and of course,
We didn't even get asked to come audition.
Yeah, I think Ayala probably saw it and was like,
you think she was like,
she might not have even forwarded those on to the show. She might have just
Lauren
been like,
Michaels didn't even see those. Do you think she may have realized she made a mistake signing us?
Possibly. I mean, that was so early on, and
early
she
on.
still kept sending us a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So we did not get on the show.
Well, who were yours?
The one that comes to mind, I don't know why I did this. I did Green Day.
That's the one
and
I
I
remember.
tried to write a song.
You put
It wasn't even good. It was a very mediocre at best Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yep.
I did Mike Michaels, which is a character I'm still proud of.
That's a good character.
It is, but does the world need more redneck characters? That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean,
he had a little bit of a twist,
but it was a little bit of a twist. It was not your typical redneck. The coaches were just your stereotypical
He's like a high-pitched, but I don't remember what the bit was I did with him. And then I did John Edwards, the North Carolina. Was he running for president in the primaries? Is that what it was?
I think so.
And then there was like a scandal
barely remember that. Yeah, he definitely had a scandal where he cheated on his wife or something.
In what
Simpler times.
world is SNL going to do a sketch about John Edwards, like average height, like very regular looking person, and they're going to cast a 6'4" lanky, long neck, like I would not.
Yeah, I feel like we were not set up for success. I hated that was the entry point to even being seen there, because we didn't have anything good to offer in that regard.
And I'll be real right now. I was extremely, extremely anxious about what it would mean if one of us got cast and the other didn't. Like it wasn't time to worry about that, but I was. I remember being a nervous wreck. And mostly, I'll admit it, was what if Tyler gets on, what am I going to do? If Tyler goes and gets on SNL, what am I going to do?
The fact that you even thought that was a possibility.
I did. I was sure that you had a much higher chance.
I submitted that tape and was like, there's a 100% chance.
Yeah,
that I'm
but
not
from
gonna
the
get this.
beginning, when we were back in our Don't Be That Guy days, you were the actor. I was the director. I was the guy that made the video, and you were the guy we always put on camera. Within our friend group, you were the actor. So I thought, okay, that's who Tyler is. He's going to get cast. I'm going to have to just deal with that. This will be a growth opportunity. It will be humbling. I'm sure he'll bring me on as a writer, but I don't even know if I'm qualified for that. God. And I was nervous wreck about it. I was certain it was going to happen. And I was worried about the other way around. How
delusional are you?
Very.
You have it makes me think so much less of your eye for talent.
Yeah, but it's because it was so personal.
Any of your compliments mean less to me now.
That's fair. But you are a brilliant actor. I mean, I've had people tell me this on the side. Like, you're not that ambitious about acting, but there's something about your expression that's dialed in just right. In comedy, people overdo it and they underdo it, and you're always right there in that lane of emotional expression that it's just funny. You have a face for comedy. And I think we saw that in college. We saw it on YouTube. Part of it was how much you didn't like it. I think when I would say, okay, you're going to play the dog, and things you can't do, you're not a dog. You got to do all this silly stuff. I believe that was something you didn't really want to have to do. And that came through. Your disdain for what you were having to do was so authentic, it made you funny. The guy that wants to act like a dog is not funny when he does it. The guy that's excited to pretend he's a dog is the last guy we want to watch doing that.
No, we really don't. At least gonna do something for you. How do you guys go for dinner? Or...
That's a good point.
It's a great point. It's what makes you a good actor. That's why I was certain it was going to be you and not me.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Because I wanted it too much.
Well, having seen both of our audition tapes, I immediately was like, we're not getting this, so maybe there's something else we could do. What's the craziest other quote unquote opportunity you got from Ayala? That's a bad way of phrasing it.
Recurring roles in The Office. The role that Billy on the Street guy ended up playing in those last few seasons of The Office.
Billy Eichner. Is that his name?
Or is Billy Eichner?
Okay. I don't.
Disney CEO or street comedian? Is it Johnny Ives? Is it Billy Eichner got the role and now he would have beat me out, but I got a role or two like that.
The one I auditioned for, which is just
I can't wait.
silly that I even got this, was the role TJ Miller played on Silicon Valley.
You read for that?
Yeah. Why?
Because
that's it's just, I mean, maybe on paper it was more ambiguous to what they wanted, but
the more interesting point
I couldn't be
is that
more opposite from TJ Miller. You know what I mean?
No, but you may have brought something to the role that they thought it would have been a different character, but that's the level we were at in Hollywood representation world. Like we were getting those roles to audition for. We were not ready for them. And the sad thing is, I think a lot of times, if I remember correctly, a lot of times we just wouldn't do it. How many of those did we get and just not do?
Quite a few.
Because we were like, we just kind of want to make our own stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to go do auditions. And thinking back, that was very naive.
Yeah, we had a lot of opportunities that were just so out of the ordinary. Like the fact that was basically our first agent, and we had those opportunities to, like, had we spent any time in New York and LA just deciding for 6 months we're going to go audition for everything, why wouldn't we have done that?
I know.
I mean,
because if we had done 50 or 100 auditions,
I couldn't have gone and done that because
well, that was the problem. You had a family at the time, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so it was easier for me, which wasn't, that was just a whole nother layer of complication when I moved to LA, whatever. But the wild thing is that we just didn't know. It seems like there are people in Hollywood that are getting started and they understand how the world works and how to move up the ranks. And we didn't know anything.
No.
We were two naive guys from the suburbs of Georgia that we got multiple. I mean, you rewind all the way back to 2006 and we were out in LA taking general meetings when we first started on YouTube. We didn't do anything with that. We walked into those meetings like, what do you have for us? We didn't have a script or an idea or nothing. That was just where we were.
You've seen our videos, right?
Put us on a show. Give us our show. We didn't know how it worked, and we didn't know that you have to do a lot of auditions before you land something, and you still may never. But if you do want to be the creator of your own show, a great way to start is to get on someone else's show.
Sure.
Yeah. We didn't know.
We didn't know.
And then we got asked to perform at Just for Laughs in Toronto. Was it Toronto? Chicago. I think I've blocked that.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't either. It was awful.
Let's just say that there were a lot of people at Just for Laughs are just like perform like stand-ups,
Yeah.
or the improv troops that are used to doing stage performances.
That's where we met Pete Holmes. Remember we
Oh,
went and
yeah.
saw his show?
Oh yeah. Oh, that
I
was
think we
great.
asked him if he would sign our life application Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, we just put something together, and it makes me cringe to think about it.
It was what, an hour-long show?
It was us and a group of an improv troupe of girls,
The Katydids.
the Katydids, who went on to have, I think they had a show.
Teachers.
Yeah,
They had their own show. They were very talented.
we weren't.
And I don't even want to go that far. I think we were talented. We didn't have any of the disciplines. Those people like them, those troops, they were every week performing in live theaters and working on. We were just, I was running my video company, and you had kids. I don't know what you were doing all day. I don't know what I was doing all day, but we weren't working on our craft.
No.
Until clouddatabackup.security.com would call and want a video.
Yeah.
It's kind of great, but that's our story.
What's also kind of just absurd is that you hear about a lot of, like, whether they're stand-ups or improv troops that, like you said, are constantly doing their thing every single day, every single night, to like 10 people in an audience. And I think the first live comedy we ever did was in an arena full of 13,000 people.
It was. No wonder we were so disgruntled about the 20 people that showed up at Just for Laughs.
So silly. It's so silly.
And that was a fluke.
Yeah, it's pure luck.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, the reason we're friends is because I don't think either of us, as much as we would have loved to know how to leverage all that opportunity, and I know me more than you, I'd love to be more successful than I am in the world of film and television. But at the end of the day, we've just never been the kind of people that revolved our whole life around that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have it in me. I like other parts of life too much.
Same.
I like family, friends. I like, neighborhood life.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling myself.
Well, going back to the earlier thing we were talking about, that's another reason that it kind of fizzled out for me, which is I just like to be home. I like to be with my wife and kids, and I like to be.
Keep talking.
I like to be here, and what we were doing involved a lot of travel, a lot of like long shoot days, and anyway, that just kind of got old.
Wasn't for you.
Wasn't for me.
It was for me.
It still can be. It's not too late.
No,
you should reach out to Ayala.
God. She dropped us because we never went and auditioned. She's like, "Why am I repping you if you're not going to do this?"
Yeah,
We're like, "That's fair."
It was not a.
Yeah.
It was not like a bad parting of ways. Right. It just didn't make any sense for her to spend any time on us.
Right. The thing is, I love my life, and I know that, if I was going to have some reflective moment, if I was going to have some reflective moment about my life, I'm at a point where I can just really appreciate the wildness of having a season like that.
I love the fact that we had that season.
Yeah. It's almost more fun that got to be a season and didn't just completely take over our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it had been easier since to find my path in some ways and figure out what else there is to do and how much should I still be investing in entertainment. But I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that we got to do all that. And that it was a season. It's the only thing that makes me interesting at all to anyone. And you too. Otherwise, we're just two more guys in a neighborhood grilling out, working for an accounting firm.
Hey, we did get our Billions moment though.
We were on television on
And that was pure luck.
another.
Talk about pure luck.
What's next? What's going to happen? Who's going to call up and randomly offer us something that we are not ready for?
I don't know. That was the most unexpected thing ever.
A couple more questions, and then we gotta cut this off. Is there a sketch that we wrote, or at least talked about, that you do wish we had actually made?
Yeah.
Didn't get made. Which one?
Flushman. I mean, can we talk about it? Because
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever get made. It's not going to get made.
It might.
The idea, the premise behind it was that the sensors for a row of urinals are not actually sensors, but
The automatic flushing urinals.
yeah, the automatic flushing urinals. They're not sensors, but they're on the other side of the wall. There's somebody watching you, waiting to press the button to flush the toilet.
An old lady
An old lady eating a sandwich, and there's
eating a sandwich.
and it's just like a full on like NASA. What do you call the war room in NASA? The
Control center
control center. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a NASA control center back there.
of TVs of just human genitalia
Yeah,
excreting until they're done.
yeah. And then at some point, I think in the sketch, there was some relationships forming. Like someone would sit down on the toilet and be like, "Hey, Karen."
Yeah. Yeah. I want that to get made.
And they also had olfactory tubes that would help them with courtesy flushes
Yes.
if necessary.
That's so gross and so funny.
And we wanted to shoot it like a 2020 episode, like a
Yeah.
kind of a new kind
like
of
a docu series.
Yeah.
Paul Ryden was going to be the
like what's
host.
really going on behind the scenes here.
like a how it's made type thing. I want to make that. I want to make it.
Okay, I dare you.
I want to do it. That's
You
too
won't.
funny.
So if you listening to this want to make it, send us the link.
Any other ones come to mind?
No. What about you?
Well, that was sorry. That was one of mine. I think the funniest sketch that I ever wrote is the least likely to ever get made. And I'm not. This is one I just wrote on my own time. I may have been since we haven't made sketches, but it's if you remember the SNL sketch with the family that was too close and they would like make out.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a version of that about a family that was very proper and had all the manners, but they would talk about the most explicit things.
I've
imagine.
I've read the script. I remember
And
this.
I think I was part of the family and like you were my dinner guest.
Yeah.
And my sister was confessing that she had a crush on your brother and she was asking you like very detailed questions about his penis. Mm-hmm. It's really funny. And I know I'll never make it.
No brand wanted to make that for some reason.
No, I mean, that's the problem too. When you get into branded world and you have to, it's like, you don't want to, there's so many ideas that are just not safe for work, not politically correct. And it's just too scary to invest a bunch of time and money into it and think, well, this might be the funniest thing we've ever made, but we might lose all the money.
Right. Yeah. I actually just thought of another one.
Okay.
And I think we actually did write this script.
Okay.
It was based on that dream that I had about
Oh my God. That was a good, Best Buy delivers.
About Justin Bieber. Help me remember the details because
I remember it.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to.
No, I really
Okay.
don't remember the details.
The idea was that you had this dream, and we wrote a sketch where,
And this is based on a real dream that I had.
based on a real dream, where you were bleeding to death,
Yeah.
and there was paramedics there, but there was for some reason the conversation you and I were having as you were dying was about how off-brand lightning chargers don't ever work for your iPhone. You can only get the Apple kind.
I'm bleeding out.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the chargers.
And then I mentioned that I had just ordered some. And like while you're dying, a Best Buy truck shows up and you're like, what? Best Buy delivers? And that was our parting conversation.
And it ended up being a Best Buy ad.
Oh, I want to make that one.
But was Justin Bieber you? Like in
I
my
don't remember
dream,
Justin Bieber being
in my
part of
dream,
it.
I think I was talking to Justin Bieber about cables as I died. What is that? You're a dream interpreter.
I am.
By the way, we often on Marco Polo, if we have a weird dream, we'll ask Tripp to interpret the dream. Whether there's any validity in what he's saying, we don't know. But it feels close enough to what it could be that we like to do it. So why did I dream that?
I don't know.
Well, that's entertaining.
Let's save that for our next episode because I'm still thinking about another sketch that I realized I wanted to make. Do you remember the one that we wrote about the fight going on in the alley? And you were passing by. You saw this fight in an alley, and someone was getting beat up, and then you go try to be a hero and save it, and then someone gets really pissed because they were actually just filming a fight scene, and you just interrupted the scene like mid going on. And you're like, sorry about that. And then someone comes and like suddenly like punches the cameraman. And you're like, oh my God. And then it turns out that was actually part of a scene. The scene was a film crew trying to film a fight scene and the camera guy getting punched. And then it just keeps going. Like every time something more drastic happens and you keep trying to save it, it turns out that was just part of a scene. And then there's sort of this, what?
I don't remember how that ended though.
Oh, I do. It ended with, it turned out that the whole thing was our scene and we were acting the whole time.
That's right.
See everything. I don't, we're different, but like, I just want to make these so bad. It would just be, it's expensive.
Yeah.
That one that we just talked about in the alley would take 10 actors, 4 film crews,
Yep.
maybe 5. If anyone out there wants to just donate some money so that we can just make comedy sketches without having to get brands involved, let us know. Let me know. Don't let him know. He doesn't want to do it. I do. Let me know. And I will talk Tyler into acting in them, and it'll be funny. It'll mostly be funny because of how much he doesn't want to be there doing it.
No, I don't mind.
Oh, you want to do it? So if I can make these happen, you'll be in these with me?
Yeah, sure.
Let's make a goal that over the next 5 years, we'll make these 3 sketches.
It's 5 years. You'll be 50 in 5 years.
It's too late at that point. No 50-year-old should be making comedy sketches on YouTube. That's a young man's game.
Exactly.